everyone. Today we are playing with some new Chanel. Basically, we're going to do a get ready with me. I'm going to show you the shades. I already have my foundation on and the eyeshadow. I'll tell you what all that is in just a second. While I'm getting ready and I show you these new products, I want to talk a little bit about how my channel is going to change in 2024. Recap my resolutions from last year. I did a video about this last year. So we'll talk about what my goals, resolutions were for last year, how I did with all of those, and what, if any, resolutions or goals do I have this year. So first of all, let me tell you what I'm going to be using today. So what I have on my face is the Chanel #1 foundation. The difference between this and what I usually wear is that this is B10. It is not B12. I am trying out some neutral foundations because I feel like I have always gone with cool leaning foundations and they generally do work well for me. But I think that I can do some neutral foundations that aren't yellow. So some brands, NARS is one, that their color, their undertones in their foundation tend to lean yellow, in my opinion. So it's harder to find for me a shade that works in hers. But I think Dior and Chanel, for the most part, their neutrals are fairly neutral. There are some particular products, particular foundations that run a little bit more yellow. But for the most part, their neutrals are fairly neutral. Their cools are fairly cool, etc., etc. So I am trying out some neutral foundations. The Suku was a neutral. This B10 is a neutral beige. It's the lightest shade in Chanel that's neutral. I mean, they don't call it neutral, they call it beige, but it's neutral. Usually I use a BR, which is pinkish. It has like a peachish tone. So I'm just seeing how these things work, what you guys think. I noticed that it does match my neck more when I go with a neutral shade, as long as it's not too yellow leaning. So just trying out new things. That's part of my resolution, which we'll get to in a second. Then I have the two Chanel liners. We have Brune Platine and Beige Lumiere. And then I have two of the lip and cheeks. I have the one that's purple and the one that's brick. I did not pick up coral, so they're 8 and 9. And I have the Eclat de Nuit on my eyes. Notice I have a very different look on my eyes than when I showed you this quad first. I used all the shades, but in a very different way. And I will say, using it this way, you do get more demarcation than using it the way I used it before. So what I did is I used the black shade on the outer corners and really diffused it out into the crease. I took I'll show you the shades again. I took the very light shimmery shade, satiny shade, put that all over the eye. I took this and put it back into the crease, and then I took the silver with my finger and just put it over the mobile eyelid. Then I lined my bottom lash with the black and put a little bit of that gray on it as well. So you can see it is possible to do different looks with this, but I would say that if you use that silver shade, it does change the look. It does, you know, give it that silver sparkly look, but I don't know necessarily that you wouldn't want to, because it's a beautiful shade. I am looking at it compared to some other shades. I'm going to show it to you today next to Hermes, the Hermes, and see if you can see that it is a different color story. I am trying to find that silvery taupe shade in another quad. I haven't found it yet, but I'll keep looking. I have a lot, so it's got to be somewhere. Okay, so let's first talk about, let's show you the eyeliners, and while I'm doing this, I'll talk about my video from last year. So last year I went through 5 resolutions, goals for my channel, and they were, you know, pretty simple. They weren't too complicated. Okay, we have Lumiere and we have Platine. So both of these are, I'd say, definitely light shades. The Platine is extremely light. It reminds me a little of, what was that shade? Or Rose? Or Rose. Let's see. Yes, it is like Or Rose, but it's lighter. There's Or Rose. And there's the Lumiere. It's more, this is more like rose. This is more, you know, beige Lumiere is not a bad way to describe it. Like it's a luminescent platinum beige. It's not, I mean, that's fair. Okay. We're going to take it and put it on the inner corner of the eye. So the goals for last year were low buy, use what I have, and to do videos where I showed you like my entire collection, new brands, using new brands, new trends, and different types of content. I do think I started to use more of my collection. I'm going to put this like all in the inner corner and in the inner waterline, just like in the inner corner of my eye. And one of the things that, you know, going through some of my collection taught me was that I have a lot of these things already. Like I have a ton of eyeshadows, for example. I know I have this silvery taupey shade somewhere. It's gotta be somewhere. I'm fairly sure. I'm gonna use the Platine on the top lash line. And that is what has led me actually to my declutter that I'm gonna start filming this next couple days. Because going this year and looking at, you know, trying to start going through my collection and making sure everything was really well organized, which I did, I realized that, you know, there's so much that I have because I have picked up most of the big collections over the years, and there's just some things that I just don't use. So I'm going to be decluttering those things and focusing more on using the products as I get them. I'm on my low buy right now, between now and May, and beginning of May. May I tend to spend a little more because it is my birthday month, so that's when my low buy will end. So those are the two shades on. I would say that the light shade is hard to see. It does add some lightness to the inner corner of the eye, but you know, it's a very light shade. So if you're using this and you're pale, it's not gonna show up much. If you're using this and you have a deeper skin tone, then that's a whole nother story because the shade is gonna show up much better. So, you know, for me, I probably won't use it that much. I'm glad to have it, but, and the other shade I think is a really nice, light, soft brown. It almost reminds me of matte taupe, but it has some shimmer to it, which is nice. In fact, I'll pull out matte taupe just so we can see it. Oh, matte taupe is much deeper. Interesting. There's matte taupe. Same kind of color though, it's like mushroomy, it's just much deeper. But it's that cool brown. Low buy, yes, I did that last year, I'm doing it this year. Use what I have. I've been doing that. I've been having collections, videos where I do like my entire Guerlain lipstick collection, my entire, you know, I forget what the other one I did. I did a bunch of them. I will be doing my Charlotte Tilbury collection. I will be doing my luminizers. I'll be doing my Chanel lipsticks. I can't do all my eyeshadows, like all my Tom Ford eyeshadows. It just, that would just take too long. I'm gonna do like my top 3 Tom Ford quads, my top 3 Chanel, that type of thing. I'm gonna have that coming. So let's look at these. These are the lip and cheek. I'll put them on my lips as well. They're the number 1 lip and cheek. I really like these products. I have all the other ones. Like I said, I did not buy the coral, but I probably will. But I'm on my low buy, so I was like, you don't need all 3, you can just get 2. So this is the brick, and this is the purple. That's the purple one, and that's the brick one. Nine and 8. Purple is number 9, this is number 8, and the coral is number 7. Like I said, I would probably pick it up, but those, that's the brick shade, that's the purple shade. All right, let's use the purple shade on my lips first and just see how that goes. I like these as cheek products more than lip, but that's because my lips are incredibly dry. All right, that's the purple number 9. I'm gonna take the brick and put a little of the brick over it. Don't worry, I'll put it on my cheeks as well. I love mixing colors. To be honest, when I was doing makeup, when I was doing it for Chanel, I often mixed things because it's really hard to find like the perfect shade for somebody else. And honestly, they didn't have as many products back then. So like I would mix things all the time. But yeah, so those are the 2 shades. Those are mixed together. But you can see the purple is not purple, it's more like magenta. And the brick is like an orangey brick. All right, so I'm gonna take the purple and I'm gonna put it more on like the apples of your cheeks. Now, I would tell you, if you try to do this, don't do this. Don't put blush on the apples of your cheek like this if you're trying to detract from the fullness of your cheeks. It gives you like that cold girl look, if you will, cold person look, whatever you want to call it. But it does draw attention to this. So if you're somebody who doesn't like, the fullness of your cheeks, don't draw attention to it by putting product there. It's just, you want to put it, if you're trying to draw your eye upward, you're trying to like lengthen your face, put it like this, not here. But that is actually a very pretty color. And for me and my coloring, that does look kind of what I look like when I go out. Gold. That is pretty. All right, let's put on the brick. What I'm gonna do with the brick is I'm gonna put it more in here, like I said a minute ago, like drawing the eye up. Now, I could use a brush for this. I would use the Sonia G. That buffer brush is amazing. But I'm using my finger because I want you to see the color at its like most potent, which is gonna be your finger. Even with that brush, and that's a great brush, some of it comes off on the brush. If you use your finger, you're gonna have less of it come off. One of the reasons I like this product is my skin is dry. The funny thing is, as I've gotten older, it's actually gotten less dry. I don't know. But if your skin is drier and you have more mature skin, I still hate that term. I gotta come up with a better term. More experienced skin. Creams can look really good. They give a freshness to the skin. They can give a glow that you're not gonna get as easily with powder. So if you are somebody who's struggling with that, so skin that maybe doesn't look as hydrated or as youthful as you'd like it to, these types of creams, you don't have to just get Chanel, there's a ton of them on the market, but I like these Chanel ones very much, will give you more of that bouncy, glowy kind of look. I think that looks really pretty, actually. Okay, you might have noticed I put a little bit of mascara on. So I wanted to show you differences between the Eclat de Nuit shimmery shade and then the one from Hermes 05 and the one from Hermes 04. You can see that the 05, although a similar color story, show it to you, this shimmery shade, the special shade, is not at all the same. Not even close. This is a much lighter silvery shade. So I'm gonna be on a hunt to try to find this shade. I have a feeling I have something like it in Tom Ford. I'm wondering if something from Metalique has it. Metal Lust, I'm sorry, Metalique is the perfume. Metal Lust has this in it, but it's gold, it's silver, it's a unique shade, and I think that's what makes this quad interesting. It makes it special, which makes it worth picking up. I don't think it's like a must buy, but I definitely think it's worth getting. I do want to mention that my essay does have it. If you want her information, I will happily share that with you, but you do need to have an account with Chanel. So if you've never bought from Chanel and you don't have or if you bought and you never set up an account, she can't ring for you. But if you have a Chanel account, I'm happy to have her give you her information. So again, I think this is a unique quad. I think it's worth picking up. I don't think it's quite as good as the formula from Chanel of old, but I do think the shimmer shade is really very, very pretty. The two liners, in my opinion, if I was going to pick one up, I would pick up the Platine. The Lumiere, I'm just not going to use it that much because it's so light. It kind of just blends with my skin. So it's not going to really be useful to me. But the Platine I could see is a really pretty light, cool brown. Like that's something that I don't really have in my collection because like I said, I thought it was like matte taupe, and matte taupe is much, much deeper. So I think that's nice. And I think these two are great additions to the Chanel Lip and Cheek because they're a little deeper, frankly, than the other ones. Now I sheared mine way out because I'm pale. But I also think these are shades that they didn't have. They didn't have a purpley magenta shade, and the brick is really nice. I think the two colors together make a nice lipstick for me. I think the purple is a little too pink magenta for me personally. I didn't think it looked bad. I just think it's a little too much. But I can't wait to try just the brick because I think the brick will be really nice as a lipstick. But like I said, I prefer it. I prefer it as a cheap product. So what are the changes that are coming to my channel in 2024, if any? So I'd say one, this idea of decluttering and being more discerning. Last year I talked about, using what I had and going on the low buy and all of that, but I didn't really touch on, being more of a discerning buyer and going through my collections enough so I really knew what I needed, if anything. So at this point, I don't need anything, but I'm obviously going to show you all the new things that you're interested in. So it's been made very clear to me that Dior and Chanel are the top two. Tom Ford, Hermes, those types of brands you're very interested in me getting at least a large part of the collection, that's fine. Sounds good. But everything else is kind of if you want it, if you need it, Jennifer, pick it up. But if not, we have plenty of other people that we watch that are going to review those things. We're not particularly interested. So that's what I'm taking from all the feedback I've received, which is great. And I appreciate it. So I am going to be doing the first declutter sale I've ever done in my life. I've never sold any of my makeup. I've never even occurred to me. And again, I'm not doing this, I said in my other video, I'm not doing this to make money. It's a matter of the products aren't going, nobody's using them. They're sitting in drawers. They're eventually going to go bad. I can't give them to anyone, to charity, because they've been opened. And it's a waste. It's just a waste. So I'm going to be putting these for sale. I'm going to do the declutter. I'm going to film all of that. And I'm probably going to do it, I'm probably going to do eyeshadow palettes first, because those are the things that last the longest. But I will have other products that I have, powder products. I don't think I'm going to do any lip products, guys, because I just feel like, I don't know. I think once somebody uses the lip thing, I just like creams and stuff, I kind of feel like powder I'm fine with because you can sterilize that and it's okay. But liquids, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna do that. You guys let me know what you want me to do, but I think those have to just sort of maybe go in the trash, unfortunately. That's the biggest one. I'm just gonna be much more careful about what I buy and say, hey, I'm buying this to show to all of you because you guys are interested. And if not, I'm not gonna pick it up. And I'm just not going to. Unless somebody tells me that it's extremely good, somebody I trust tells me it's extremely good and I'd love it, I'm just not gonna go outside sort of a core group of products. Two, I am gonna continue to do more videos where I show you entire collections. And that is something that I realize not necessarily gets a tremendous amount of views at once, but everybody goes back and watches them. I've run through the analytics and it's really interesting. So like when I did the video of the Guerlain lipsticks, all the Guerlain lipsticks, I find that people go back continuously to check certain shades or to check what the color was compared to another color, especially when a new Guerlain lipstick comes out, like the new one that I just bought. It is really interesting, that 69. People go back and looked at the other colors to see, what it looked like in comparison. So I will do more of those. Lip products lend themselves to that, of course. And I will have one with the luminizers and my Chanel lipsticks, which is going to take forever. But I will have those coming up. So I'll continue that. I'm going to continue to try new brands. I think it's important to you know, go out there and try different things, along with trying different types of foundation or a different type of, you know, skincare or whatever it is, because if you always stick with exactly what you know, you never learn if anything is better. Now, I'm not the kind of person who just jumps from one thing to another. Once I find something that really works for me, I continue to like it, to use it, to love it. But I also think it's important to be like, oh, to be curious, right? There could be something else out there that would be really good for me and I would like and I would enjoy. So I will hopefully continue that curiosity and try new things. I tried a couple of new brands this year that I ended up really liking. So I will continue to do that in 2024. Trends, I talked about doing new trends in my 2023 video, and to be honest, I just don't think that's who I am. Like, I get that there's the strawberry milk makeup look and the cafe latte makeup look and the using your lipstick, you know, on your nails. I mean, there's bizarre stuff on the internet. I just don't think that's who I am. I'm just not a trendy person. I've never been a trendy person. I don't really follow trends. It's not my thing. I do tend to look at trends though to see what's coming. So what I mean is, like, especially in clothes, I like watching trends in clothing and watching the runways, because it's interesting to see how designers are envisioning the next year, because they always do these things way ahead of time. So you can see what's coming in spring and you can see what's coming in fall way ahead of the actual season. So you can see color stories that are coming, and that does influence makeup as well. So I probably will do more. I did enjoy the ones that I did about like shoes and clothing and quiet luxury and that kind of stuff. That I'm going to ramp up a little bit more in 2024. So I will be doing more videos about my jewelry collections. Most of them are vintage. I will talk about my purses, something I have not done before because I always feel a little uncomfortable. I want to straddle the line between, I don't ever want to be seen as someone who's like, look what I have. I just find that frankly offensive. Like, and no disrespect to anybody who does. I get it. We're all trying to just share the things we love with people who also love them. But there is a line that I feel like, you know, I want to make clear. It's not me showing off. It's not me saying, hey, look what I have and you don't. That's not it at all. These are things I love that I've curated, and I know other people will appreciate that. Whereas some people will just be like, yeah, it's a purse. Like my husband, who's very sweet and very supportive, is always like, don't you have a black purse? So, you know, like, it's just different. So I want to share that with all of you. And also, you know, I can give you tips about like where I pick things up, how I plan, that kind of thing. And same with the jewelry, same idea there. And of course I will continue with makeup. The last thing I want to mention is just sort of a programming note. So those of you who are really new to my channel, maybe this is your first video, I had some health issues this year, and you know, on my channel I try to keep things light and fun, talk about makeup and jewelry and fashion. I don't go into like, you know, personal stuff, but my health did impact the channel, of course, because I was sick and there was a lot of things I could do. And for those of you who are interested, it basically migraines, severe migraines. And migraines are one of those things, if you've never had one, I'm truly happy for you. And I hope you never have one. For those of you who've had a migraine, you know, it interrupts everything. It disrupts everything. There's practically nothing you can do with a migraine. So, yeah, I had to go through like a bunch of testing and a whole regime of things. I was like, it's huge pain. But the one thing I will say, what that taught me, and I had to go through physical therapy and a whole bunch of other stuff, is that I cannot maintain a 3 video a week schedule with my job all the time. Sometimes I can do it. Sometimes it's not a problem because I have a lot of time on the weekend, or maybe there's a holiday, or maybe I don't have a lot of events planned, you know, whatever the case may be. But in order to do my job, which is like a 60-hour-a-week job, still have time for friends and family, my dogs, my husband, my sister, my friends, you know, all that good stuff. Yeah, it's really hard. And I know, you know, a lot of people watch these videos and they're like, oh, how long can it take? It takes a really long time. Again, I'm not complaining. I love doing this. I wouldn't be here if I didn't. But it takes, it's a job. It really is. To do this on a hopefully somewhat professional level is a job. It takes a lot of time and effort. So I would rather have fewer videos every week, or maybe inconsistent, like sometimes 2 and sometimes 4, and have them all be good, than have 3 videos and most of them not be good, because I feel like I need to have a set schedule, but I don't have time to dedicate to it. So you may see some weeks I might not even have a video. I doubt that will happen, but it could. And hopefully those of you who enjoy my content will continue to watch. I will try to be as consistent as I possibly can, but I want to prioritize my health, my life, all of those things, and also provide really good content for all of you. In that vein, I do have a Patreon channel, and a lot of people have asked me about it recently, like how do I join it? Probably because of the declutter sale. How do I join it? What do I do? The Patreon link is in the description box. It's down below. Basically, to join Patreon, you can join as a free member to check it out, or you can join as a paid member. There are 3 levels. I don't expect anyone to join Patreon. This is not me saying, please join. If you'd like to do it, great. If you don't want to do it, great. I appreciate you watching. Patreon is set up for 2 things. 1, to help support my channel. So I don't get paid for doing any of this, of course, because YouTube is free. Sometimes brands send me things, but for the most part, I buy all this stuff myself. So it's a very large investment. And I do make some money from ads and affiliate links. So when you guys buy from my affiliate links, there's a small percentage that goes to me. But I promise you, the amount of money I make during a year doesn't even cover the amount of makeup that I buy. Not even close. So Patreon, if you join Patreon and you spend like $3 a month, that helps go to the cost of all of these things. So that's one thing. Secondly, when I get new releases and they haven't technically been released, they go on Patreon. I will not put them on YouTube, and I will not put them on Instagram, because I've seen too many people who put things that aren't officially out yet, have their channels taken down. And I put way too much work into this to put something up and then have it taken down. So that stuff is over on Patreon until it's official. So that's it, guys. I welcome your feedback. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I would welcome constructive criticism. I know I'm opening myself up here, but like, if there's things that you'd like to see, or there's different ways you'd like me to do things and you have suggestions, I would love to hear them. Criticism just for criticism's sake isn't particularly helpful, but saying, hey, I liked when you did this, I would love to see more of that, that's incredibly helpful. Or I haven't seen you do this, I would love to see that. I would love those types of comments, suggestions. A lot of you do a lot of interaction in the comments, which I think is great, and offer advice to other people in the comments, which again, I think is great. That's the whole point. There's a community that's, trading ideas and thoughts and helping one another. That's why I started this, because otherwise, you could just read all of this stuff. It's boring. So thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you in another video really soon. Bye.